Hi, this is Woohoo Wednesday. I'm Little Woo with this week's life question that I received from someone. And the question is judgment ever useful? Like when we use it to evaluate ourselves for self-improvement. So I'm going to actually break down a common definition of judgment, and that is the ability to make considered decisions and come to sensible conclusions. That's something I just looked up online just to quickly before this talk so I could see what the common definition of it is. Of course, with any definition, there's the colloquial use of the term, and then there's the kind of more official use of the term. So that's the official use, and I think a lot of people do use it that way. But I feel like there's a more, even more common use of the word judgment in my kind of understanding of how I see it being used in the world, is often used as an unyielding evaluation that is based on a very highly emotionally reactive position, internal bias, or very limited perspective. So often people will make a very dualistic judgment of this is right and this is wrong, and it's very black and white, and you got to take it or leave it, and it's the end of story. And it's very much in the realm of it tends to create condemnation, even though judgment can be a positive thing, and someone can say something very praise you and approve of you, but they can also turn around and condemn you, and it's really often creating a sense of deep division. So it's not open to dialogue. So that's the energy that I feel is more often around the word judgment. And there's a survival mechanism behind why we make judgments, because when we feel threatened, we need to make a quick decision as to what to do and who to side with. And in those really immediate gut reactions, we tend to try to pick a position that we're trying to understand on a very simplistic level, and it's very gut and emotion driven. And it doesn't mean that emotion is bad, it just means that sometimes emotion can really cloud our hearts from feeling the real depth of the situation, and we just look at it very simply. And so right now, I would say that for self-improvement, I would kind of replace the word judgment and try to activate this word discernment as an ability to establish healthy boundaries and make decisions that are based on an effort to constantly understand a situation and its complexities. So it's a position that's open to dialogue, it's open to further understanding, it's open to research, it's open to fact-checking, and it's an understanding that comes from the realization that situations and people are very complex and multidimensional, and it's never as simple as you think it is. And I'm not here to make everything difficult, it's just that we are complex. And if you ever look back at any choice that you've made that has hurt someone else, you would if you remove judgment from your analysis of why you did something, you would start to see why you did something. And so when I work with people, the first thing I try to do is remove the judgment of what happened and try to go deeper, because judgment creates defense or attack, and that creates a sense of blame or guilt, and guilt leads to shame, and shame leads to secrets and deception and lying and hiding, because no one can live with shame. Not for very long. And if you live with it, then you have to create ulterior realities around what happened, which is actually not exactly the truth. And that's why we can't heal from shame, because we haven't gotten to the true reason why we did something. And so to really understand, we need to remove shame. And remove shame, we need to remove the guilt and the blame and the attacking and the defending. And we need to create safe spaces where people can actually talk to each other. I've recently, of course, all of us have been probably experiencing a lot of judgment, either offering judgment or receiving judgment by social media, from our friends when we go into discussion where the discussion abruptly ends because one person feels judged or attacked, and instead of having true open dialogue, which comes from a deep desire to understand, and instead of a deep desire just to be right, that just blocks dialogue. The desire to be right, the desire to have a righteous position, to feel like you can be safe because you have a position, blocks so much communication, blocks so much understanding. When I talk about discernment, it's a way to change the discussion, the energy, because even the word judgment creates anxiety for people. and it can create righteousness. So discernment is like this new word that is not new, but it's more neutral, and it comes more with that energy that I'm describing of really trying to understand a situation. If you really want to help a situation, try your best to go deeper into understanding why the violence is happening, why people are afraid, why people are defending or attacking, and you can try to understand the position of the attackers and the position of the resistors. And as you understand more deeply, you will come up with better solutions and a way to create dialogue. And I've seen activists who have been able to do that and be able to actually create space for negotiation. And instead of just pure opposition and pure hatred and pure rage. Now, rage is useful to show us what we don't want so that we can focus on what we actually would like to create. So in order to create, we need to understand. And in order to understand, we need to create safe spaces for dialogue. And right now, we don't have too many of those. Social media is a very dangerous spot. People post something and they're immediately written off. A person is so much more complex than we give them credit for. And we often oversimplify a situation. So even if we don't agree or understand why they came to make the policies that they've made or take the actions that they've taken, there's a deeper story. And if we don't understand that, we won't be able to create a new reality. And so my focus is helping individuals to get out of that survival mode, to get out of judgment mode, and actually try to understand themselves and understand what's going on around them. And when you understand, you're going to feel less helpless and less disenfranchised and less frustrated, and actually more creative and more innovative. And all the innovators out there and all the creators who are here saying, I want to do something, the people that you feel are wrong, you need to understand them more deeply so that you can help and not just hate or sit there and pronounce judgment. And there are times in your life where you must create a healthy boundary, where you say, no, I cannot engage with this person. And that's okay. In that moment, you can say, right now, I don't have the tools or the skills to be able to engage with this person, but let me look for the tools. Let me look for the depth of understanding. Let me try to continue this work of diving into the complexities. Don't let me just make judgment and block my growth and block the growth of the person that I feel has a different opinion than I do. So hopefully, for self-improvement's sake, even alone, you would use discernment to help yourself grow and not just make judgment whether you're good or you're bad. Those are simplistic terms. And so when I hear the media go bad guys and good guys, this is just really simplistic and it's not helping. And I hope that this little pep talk is going to inspire more people to think about fact-checking, to think about holding off on a reaction, immediately just take a position. What do you wish to understand more? And what do you wish to really go deeper with so that you're not just standing in defense or attack? How can you contribute by creating a real solution in one domain? So don't be distracted by a million things that you have to pronounce a million judgments on. Just say, I want to understand one thing more deeply. Just pick one thing. If you want to get some help going through these rough moments, I do work with people one-on-one. And you can go to my blog. I have lots of different talks posted on different topics. And I also welcome your questions. Please email me, treasures@littlewoo.org, if you have a specific question that you'd like me to address in a future Wednesday video. Mwah.